This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich,
And I'm Kelley Gilster of 618 Studios.
and we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another conversation. It is our final podcast episode of 2024. Taylor, happy New Year's Eve.
Happy New Year's Eve. You know what's just like playing in my head? It's that like viral audio. It's like, and with that, the 2024 season comes to an end. Good night. You know that one?
Yes. What are you doing tonight?
Yeah. Okay. So
Honestly, I gotta be honest. Is this the final sip and tell?
it is.
Okay, final sip and tell to close out the year. In all honesty, I never see you in a world where you make it to midnight.
No. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So that is absolutely true. Okay. So I have in the past love a good adult New Year's Eve with sparkly
Yeah.
dresses and champagne and confetti falling from the ceiling. Like, I do think that is so fun. However, now as I will be 33 in just a few weeks, my idea of the perfect New Year's Eve is we get together with some of our best friends who have three boys, kind of around the same age as our older two daughters, and we're so mean. We like set all the clocks to look like 9 p.m. is actually midnight, so they don't know
Oh, that's great.
it's not turning midnight. Yeah, but we do the whole thing. We buy like the silly little kit from Costco with all the poppers and the confetti and the
Yeah.
balloons and the glasses that say 2025 on them, and like watch like YouTube like from streaming from the East Coast. I will say though, being on the West Coast allows us to do that because the ball drops at 9 o'clock here.
Yeah.
And so we do that. And then we usually go over to their house. And so by 10 p.m., we've swept up all the confetti and we're saying goodnight to the friends, and we get everyone home at like a semi-decent time. And I
Yeah.
crash because that's even late for me. So that's like the perfect New Year's Eve.
Yeah. That's so good. Can I tell you about the most epic New Year's Eve that we ever had?
Yeah.
Okay. It was 2017. Okay. I'm taking you back. It
All
was
right.
December 31st, 2017. We had no kids, right? So we're still having the really, really fun adult New Year's Eves, right? The champs, the glasses, probably like really good food. I can't really remember, but what I do remember is that we had closed on our very first home. We had bought our very first home,
Aw.
which is now a rental property, which is fun and exciting. Another source of revenue for us. And we had bought a home that had a half pipe in the backyard.
What?
Like a skateboarding half pipe, okay? Yes. And
cool.
when we purchased the home, it had the half pipe in the backyard, and we had discussed with the sellers. They were like, hey, what do you want us to do with the half pipe? And we were like, well, we are not skateboarders, so we are not going to utilize the half pipe. So they're like, do you want us to like tear it down? And we're like, actually, that would be really nice. Thanks for offering. And then they just never did it. So we closed on the house, got the keys, walked in the backyard. The half pipe was still there, which meant for a really fun New Year's Eve because Paul had a couple skateboards and we had all had some champs. I think I'm sure you guys know where this is going, okay? Had some champs, celebratory, and people were just like trying to drop in on the half pipe that had no business dropping in on the half pipe. And it was like, I had Snapchat at the time, and I was like really into Snapchat at the time. And Taylor, I'll have to log back into my Snapchat and I'll download those videos and I'll send them to you. They are hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Were there any helmets or knee pads involved? I have to ask.
Zero.
Oh,
Zero.
no.
Yeah. None of that. Yeah.
I'm imagining just like all the scrapes and bruises, but like when you're drinking, you don't even notice or care.
And when you're like I mean, at that point, we were, like, 26? Yeah, like, 26 or something? So, like, you're, like, still spry in your mid-20s, like, good
You're
times.
flexible.
Best best New Year's Eve ever. New house with a half pipe and champagne, and that's all we needed. That's all we needed. It's a good
That
time.
sounds so fun, actually. Okay, that was, like, far more, like, wholesome than what I expected it to be.
That's hilarious. Um,
I feel like New
good
Year's Eve is a
times.
popular, like, wedding date. I see, like, a lot of people filming weddings on New Year's Eve,
Oh,
and
yes, let's talk about this because I actually
yeah.
I've had a theory over all this. So, because
Ooh.
now we're, like, heading into our 15th season, so we have shot our fair share of New Year's Eve weddings. Have you, Taylor?
I don't think I would ever do it,
Okay.
for many reasons. Like, I wouldn't wanna give up that holiday, like, for myself, but then
Okay.
also, I'm, like, so, so nervous about driving, like, amongst
Yeah.
all the drunk people. I just feel like that's not worth it, like, to me, and maybe I'm being, like, probably way too paranoid, but I don't even like, the thought of even driving to, like, downtown Sacramento to, like, enjoy New Year's Eve, like, scares me, even in an Uber or something, because like, you can't control anyone else, so, yeah, I'm like a
Yeah.
nervous Nelly. Yeah.
No, that's really smart. We filmed a good amount of New Year's Eve weddings in the beginning of our career, and then we burnt ourselves out on them. And then we said no because we wanted to enjoy like our 20s with our friends on New Year's Eve. So then we said no. And then we had kids, and New Year's Eve got super boring. I mean, I'm sure it'll get fun when they get older, but right now it's like very much like it's not really much with, like, an 8-month-old and a 2-year-old, and, I guess, like, for Micah, like, he's 5.5, so I feel like he's into it, but now I would totally be fine to, like, shoot New Year's Eve weddings, and I have, and I'm like, "I'd rather, like, make some money than, like, stay home and have it just kind of be, like, a regular night." So, we filmed one 2 years ago, and it was really good.
It was a good one?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, the only thing you do have to, like, navigate is all the New Year's Eve weddings wanna make it till midnight, which means just a later ceremony time, and with daylight savings and the earlier sunset time, it generally means for a dark ceremony. So, sometimes you have to light it yourself, sometimes there is some lighting, maybe there's not
I just
enough
had to light a
lighting.
ceremony a few weeks ago. Yeah, it can be hard.
It's challenging. Yeah, it can be really hard. But I don't know. I'm okay with them now for now. And I'll probably be over it in like a few years again. So it's been like an ebb and flow on my how I feel about the New Year's Eve weddings.
Yeah. I mean, my oldest is 8.5, and then I have a
That's
6
fun.
and almost 7-year-old, and then yeah, so I feel like we've got past the point, like, of them not caring, like, they very much so care, and, like, my 8-year-old would guilt me, like, relentlessly if I booked something on New Year's Eve, I think she would be like,
Really?
"Why did you do that? Like, you don't wanna be with me?" Like, probably like that, so I'm not here for that. Um Anywho, if you guys listened to last week, um, we talked about our reflections on the 2024, not only wedding season, but the year as a whole when it comes to weddings, our level up pursuits, and then things on the personal side. And we are really, really hoping you went through that, like, for lack of a better word, exercise with us because I think it's really important and it was going to tee you up perfectly for today. So today we're talking about the future. I feel like the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future over here. We're just covering all of our bases. Um, and so I feel like if you have not yet set goals for 2025, now is the perfect time to do it. If you scroll back in the podcast, I think we've talked about goal setting like many, many times, and we don't want to literally just say the same thing over and over. So go find those ones. But instead, we're going to talk about on our end, since this is the very last Sip and Tell episode of the Sip and Tell series. What better topic than us talking about our plans and goals for the future?
Yes, I love it. So I don't know about you, Taylor, but when I'm thinking of starting a New Year's resolution list, I actually like to split it up into 3 categories. So I like
Ooh.
to, yeah, so I like to go like personal, so just me. Like, what do I want to achieve for myself in 2025? And I list accordingly. Then I go business. What do I want my business to achieve in 2025? And I list accordingly. And then I look at relationships. Are there areas of things that I want to do for my family, goals for my family, goals with my friends, goals with any relationships, right, in my life? And how can I um, I don't, not mend things, but like, how can I make things like better and more fulfilled and all that, and I'll list accordingly. So, I don't know, I like to take it in 3 parts. What about you?
I love that you did relationships. I think that, like, speaks volumes about, like, your personality and who you are, as a person, because I am absolutely, like, the yin to your yang, and that's probably not something that I would think about. Mine
You're
are
like, yeah."
mine are slightly more
You're like,
selfish.
"Business and me. Money and
Business
me." I'm just kidding.
if I'm being completely honest, that actually kinda is. That kinda is. Um, but I'll do, like, family. Like, what do we wanna accomplish as a family? And usually that will come in the form of, like, what trips do we wanna take, or what, like, personal, like, financial investment steps we want to take, or, like,
Mhm,
home projects. Like, that's usually, like, my 3rd category. Like, this year was a huge year for us, in all of those areas. Like, we talked about it last week, but we did a lot of home projects. We went on like, actually, we didn't talk about this, but we went on, like, a few, like, pretty substantial family vacations, which, I'm realizing more and more as I get older just how precious time really is, and I feel like you can
mhm.
hear that as many times as anyone else, and it's not gonna click until something in your life, like, makes it click, and for me, like, it has clicked, and I realize, like, how temporary everything truly is, so really trying to, like, maximize the memories, especially with my kids being little and everything. And then we traveled out to Tennessee, which is where we hope to move eventually. After my husband retires, and this will get into like our future planning. But he'll retire in like five
Mm,
and a half years, and so that's like really creeping up on us. And so we kind of pinpointed exactly like where we want to move, and um, we're essentially setting ourselves up for that big move, and with that will come with like a home upgrade, like a pretty substantial home upgrade. And so that takes just a lot of planning. So we're kind of like putting those pieces into place right now, which is really nice. It's kind of I like to have like a specific like thing I'm working for. Like our financial situation I understand is like super privileged, but my husband has his own like lucrative career which basically can support our family. Like that's all of the income we need to pay our mortgage and buy groceries, like basically. And so everything that I make goes to extras. So extras looking like home upgrades, vacations, and then like saving for big future pursuits, which is my dream house. So, it's kinda nice instead of me just, like, working, 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 feeling like it's, like, being squandered on, like, eating at restaurants every night or, like, something dumb like that. Like, it's actually going to a very tangible goal that's going to feel really, really good, when we achieve it. So, I can't remember
love
why
that.
I said any of that. Wow, I lost that train of thought, but
Family goals.
oh, yeah, family
Setting
goals.
family
Okay.
goals, your
Mhm.
financial goals of things. Yeah, you're like big team saver. For a
Mhm.
while, you were like going heavy on like paying down your mortgage. Are you still doing that? Or are you like moving it to like throwing it all into your savings account?
Yeah, well, not a savings account exactly, but, yeah, so we paused extra mortgage payments. It was already a 15-year mortgage, so it was already, like, gonna be pretty speedy, but, we refinanced, when interest rates were literally at rock bottom, so we're sitting at, like, a
Yeah,
2.25% interest rate on our home.
so good.
So yeah, so you really don't save, like, a ton by, like, paying off the home early, so I think we owe like around 150 left on our house, which is like pretty good. Like we made a lot of progress. So we're kind of not doing that anymore. Instead of all that money is now being put into like investment accounts at like at least double that interest
Yeah,
rate. So on paper
right.
it just makes more sense. Yeah.
That's great.
Dave
So
Ramsey would
smart.
be cringing at
So
us because we're
proud.
not doing it exactly
Oh,
the way
I
he
was say
would
so
suggest,
proud. I
but
know nothing about Dave Ramsey.
no,
It's
he's all
fine.
about
You
like
know
paying
what?
your
It's
mortgage off.
different.
Sorry, go ahead.
But I think there also is something to say about where in the country you live. Because
Mhm.
here in California, our homes appreciate at such a higher number than the rest of the country does for the most part, or many areas of the country.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true, and, like, it depends on like, maybe if this was our forever home. Well, I mean, I can tell you, like, with absolute certainty, if this is our forever home, we would continue paying it down, and then we would be done in, like, a year or whatever,
Yeah.
and then that would be great to feel free like that, but knowing that we're literally gonna sell this and then buy something else across the country, feels, like, less urgent to, like, be done because we will have a mortgage in the future. So it's like
Yeah.
it would just be like a temporary relief. Yeah, so anyway, that's what we're doing. Probably too
Cool.
detailed for everyone listening, but
No, it's good. We're sipping and we're telling on all the financial things. Um, yeah, this house that we're in is not our forever home either. So we are like saving a good amount because we also like part of our diversification model of our lives is having multiple rental properties. So I told a little bit in the beginning of this episode that we bought our very first home and now it's a rental property. So that is cash positive. Um, we also make about on top of like what the mortgage is and what the rent is, we make about $1,000 a month off of that. So we have someone paying our mortgage, and we're profiting like $1,000 a month. So this home that we're currently in, we would love to rent it out also. So eventually. So that means saving all the way up for another down payment all over again. So,
mhm.
and that one I think is probably going to be like if not our forever home, like, the home that we, like, host all of our kids' graduation parties at, you know? Like, that type of home. And then maybe, like, we move to something else if life brings us to another area of the country or whatever it may be.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, like, I think that in my mind, like, "forever home," quote, unquote, like, means, like, you're there for 20 years. Like, that's kind of, like, what I guess what I, like, think of, like, maybe you're not, like, old and decrepit and 98 years old, like, still living in the house, but, like, a huge portion, like, the foreseeable future is spent in that house, so, like, we know, like, the time is ticking on us, like, we have 5.5 years left, which is, like, the opposite of a forever home, like, we know the exact date we're moving out. But yeah, that's fun. I mean, I think it's so like cool the way you guys are going about it. Like your guys' investment like strategy is so different from ours. Like from like a philosophy perspective, we don't have any like large assets outside of like traditional retirement accounts. We're going like very safe by the book, but I would love to explore like the real estate game, I think in the future, maybe like after we move. I do for me, it would concern me to own rental properties in California when I know we're gonna live in Tennessee. Um, I feel like it'd be really hard to manage. I don't really know. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't matter where you live. I don't know.
You just have a property management company
Yeah,
do
I
it for
guess
you.
so.
It's like
Maybe I'm
10%.
thinking too much. Thinking too
Yeah.
much about it.
Yeah. It's no big deal. Um,
Okay, so
I
what are
don't know.
your 2025 goals? I would love to know. Maybe
Okay,
we'll start
so
with like 618, blah, 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 all the
okay.
things.
For 618, my goal, we just are like we had the new rebrand happening, so that's really exciting. We haven't done anything like that in like 8 to 10 years, so that's cool. Um then my goal is to like get in the room more. So we have Kindred coming up. Me and Taylor are roomies for that. So like we're going to do Kindred together and then we're going to do Engage together at the end of this next year. Um, so that's cool. And then I'm in another networking wedding industry um like database. I don't know how to call it. It's just like a really cool community. So I'm in that and that's like throughout the year. And that's cool. So I'm just like diversifying and getting in many rooms this year. Um I went into this year with less weddings than I hoped. I have 3, but I would have loved to have, like, 5 at this point because I think our sweet spot is, like, 10 a year, and I feel like I like to go into the year with, like, at least 50% booked. Um, but I know that it'll fill out. It'll be fine. So I'm not worried, and then corporate is just, like, its whole other beast. It's absolutely insane. I beg Paul to slow down. He says no. He's stoked on all of his endeavors, and we're also excited that in this new course that we're rolling out, we will be talking, or I will be teaching, and Paul will be teaching a little bit too, on how we built out this mega brand of corporate work that has honestly blown 618 out of the water revenue wise in the last 12 months.
I think I've said this, like, once before, but I'm gonna double down and say it again, like, your corporate brand, is raking it in, and I I'm gonna watch that part of the course, like, for sure, and maybe see, what I can kind of scrounge up in terms of some of that midweek corporate work here on my end. I feel like it's for so many people, like money left on the table, we have this incredible skill that so many people really want their hands on. And luckily for us, weddings, I mean, as many times as people say, like, I do weddings full time, like, the reality is the vast majority of us are like actually not spending full time hours on weddings, right? Like,
Yes.
we're
It's a
not
good
doing
point.
40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year. Like, we're really just not. um,
We're not.
most of us. So I feel like if you have the time and you want some extra money, this is a great route. Or you can do what we did. And like honestly, Level Up made more than double what our wedding film studios made. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like there's so many ways to diversify what no matter what your interests lean towards. Maybe it is truly like you love photography, you love videography. Okay, cool. Maybe corporate's the answer. And or maybe you're like me and you're like, I actually need to like scratch this other itch of like creating something completely different than what I'm already kind of creating. And so like the education side I feel like is a great route for that. But um okay, so you want to hit 10 weddings, you're at
Yep.
3. I feel like you're going to get just like flooded with inquiries though, like in the next
Yeah.
30 to 60 days.
Yeah, in the next quarter, for sure. That's always, like, the
Mhm.
biggest, like, quarter 1 is always the biggest booking, quarter for us. So,
Mhm.
we can't always as entrepreneurs, and especially in this industry, it's hard to kinda track. Paul used to, like, I feel like Taylor would have loved this. Paul used to, before he started off the corporate branch, and he used to, like, try to find, like, what the game was. Like, this is how many we had in July or January of 2012, and then, like, really, but there's just, like, no rhyme or reason for it. I think he did it for, like, 5 or 6 years, and he's like, "Yeah, there's really no, like, proven process of, like, when they really come in," or, like, June was really heavy this month, and then, like, October was really heavy this year, or sorry, June was really heavy in this year, and then October was really heavy in this year. Like, it really is the wild, wild west out there sometimes, you guys. So,
Especially
just know
once you
that.
start getting into, like, destination stuff. I mean, like because, like,
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, like, let's say your primary market is in Colorado. It kinda makes sense that most of the weddings are gonna fall between May and October, like, when it's not
Yeah.
snowy outside. But once you're kind of, like, traveling all over the place, like, there's no end to the season, you know?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm so happy. Like, we exceeded so many of our goals for 2024 business wise. I hope to just like rinse and repeat for this year, honestly. That would be incredible. But yeah, and then on a personal side, I am like so dedicated. Like you said last week that 2024 was your glow up year, and I really want this to be my glow up year as well. So, knowing that I don't have to be pregnant again, and I'm not breastfeeding again, and I can, like, fully just take control of all the things. I'm excited.
It's nice, that feeling of control.
It's nice. You're like, "Yeah, it's good. I love it. Yeah, it's great."
I do. I kind of love not leaving anything up to chance or like not being at like others' whims, if I'm being totally honest. Like, this is the first year that I didn't have any kids in the house during the day. All like they're at school or daycare, and my husband has like a normal working hour schedule. And the feeling of control over my own schedule. I don't have to wait for someone to get out of the shower so that I could blah, 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 or I don't have to like go change a diaper or like whatever it is. Like it was like like, just, like, tremble with, like, happiness and contentment, like, not having to, like, bend to other people, which, oh my gosh, sounds so horrible. I would have to say I think I'm a really great mom. I think I am, but what makes me an even better mom is having the time of the day to be selfish so that I can, like, without hesitation, be so devoted to the family. So anyway, I sound like a horrible person by saying
Absolutely.
that, but
No. No, we're being so honest on this sip and tell, and I'm sure that a lot of listeners maybe feel the same way, but I have said, like, I'm a better mom when as a working mom. Like, I just am. Like, I don't think I could do it. Just like stay. I'm just not built that way. And so much mad respect for those who do. And I have friends of mine who like that was like their calling in life. It's just, it's just not mine. Did anyone see the Cardi B? Did you see the Cardi B thing where she was trying to chop a cucumber and she like started crying?
no. Was there one that Kendall
She
Jenner was doing too? Do they both have cucumber issues?
Oh. I don't know, but it was like Cardi B was like in the kitchen and she was like trying to like chop things up and it was like hard to watch. And like she just goes like, this is like the like God did not bless me in this way. Like he blessed me in other ways so that I can like hire a chef. Like cuz I'm not like blessed in this way.
Oh my god, that would be the
And like
dream though,
this
to, like,
sounds
have a private chef. That would be the best.
I'm obsessed with private chef TikTok, specifically this one girl who's a private chef for a family like in the same county as me in Laguna Beach, and I love watching like what she makes for the people and it seems like a dream job. Even though I'm a terrible cook and Paul does all the cooking in the house. Hashtag everybody needs a Paul. Um, yeah, yeah.
Trademark
I
that phrase
just
because it's gonna get popular. Um, yeah, I love I've this one guy that I watch in the Hamptons, and then this girl who's, like, a private chef
yes, the
on, like, a
Hamptons.
yacht. Mhm.
Yes, the Hamptons chef game or talk, Hamptons chef talk is so good.
So good.
Love it.
So anyway, that's me in 10 years. Just kidding. Um, okay, so 2025, I'm heading into the season. Actually, full transparency, we're recording this a little earlier than when it comes out. And at the time, I have 4 bookings, but I have a feeling I might get this 5th one, which is cool. Usually, like, I go in, like, very light heading into January, so this is, like, uncommon for me, which is great. The problem is all of the weddings are between, like, August and December. Like, it's very
You
heavy
have
on the
some
back
time.
half. Yeah. So I'm like, "Oh, man, I hope
Okay.
that that spring fills up kinda last minute." Who knows? But I would love to ideally book, I mean, it would be great to do 12, honestly. Like, I'm kind of ramping it up. Like, I mentioned that we have, like, I
Big
have a
goals.
dir yeah, we have big goals. I have a very, like, clear direction and, like, thing that I want to accomplish, and now I'm like, mission is to literally, like, maximize these working years, like, so that my vision for the
Mhm.
future can happen. Otherwise, like, it kinda all, like, falls on me. Like, my husband's his, his income is not scalable. It is just, like, it's gonna be what it is. So, like, I feel like any sort of, like, wiggle room comes from my end, which is a lot of pressure, but I feel like I work well under pressure, so it's great. So I would like to do 12, and then, I would really love to find an editor eventually that I jive with really
Mm.
well. It just hasn't clicked yet. This year I did everything in-house. Um, again, I wanna say last year, 2023, I hired an editor for maybe 3 or 4. The year prior, I, used, like, a large company for some of my weddings, and I'm just, like, truly never, like, super all the way happy with it, which I think is just part of it. Like, from
Yeah.
what people say, like, they get it, like,
Is
80%
it?
there. I don't know, but, like,
Really?
I would really love, like, I mean, I think photography editing is, like, a little bit more straightforward than, like, videography editing because we have, like, audio and, like, storyline and, like, all of this stuff that goes into it, and, like, to me, that's the part that takes the longest. Um but, like, I'm
Yeah.
a fast color grader, I can, like, master the audio quickly, like, I just need someone to, like l actually, I'm actually pretty quick at laying the storyline too with, like, where the music fades in and out and, like, where I want, like, those audio clips to be. I want someone to, like, lay the B-roll. That's what I want. Like, that takes me
Oh,
so long.
interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, kinda same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably, like,
I feel like
75% of the time I spend is on that.
yeah, I just I enjoy editing a lot. So I think I've just kind of decided for so long, okay, this is so important to kind of like recognize for those listening too. If you're seeing things on Facebook groups or chatter in different social groups and everybody is kind of like doing a certain thing, listen into like if that certain thing is really serving what you enjoy doing. So I felt like for so long it was all about just like outsource your editing, like free up your post-production time, like get that out of the way. And like I think I for a long time like fell into that being like, okay, yeah, everybody else is hiring an editor. Like I'm failing because I'm not outsourcing my editing. Like why is everybody else like have this magic system that I don't have. And then I tried to make it work. And then it just came down to the fact that I'm like, I love editing way too much to give this up. It's not something that, like, even though everybody else that felt like around me had been like, oh, yeah, you got to outsource your editing, you got to outsource it. Like, it was such a part of the process that I really genuinely missed that it made me feel less fulfilled in my job. So,
Yeah, that makes
what
a
did
lot of
that look
sense.
like? Yeah, like, so as you guys are kind of thinking about, like, maybe it's, this whole rollout of AI and it feels like everybody's using AI. And maybe some of us really love aspects of AI, but then maybe there's other aspects where you're like, I just want to do this myself. Like, I really enjoy the tedious process of this, and I don't want AI to take this away from me. Like, me as an artist am fulfilled by taking this extra step. Because I mean, I know for photography, like we mentioned it, like, I feel like AI is like really doing great things for so many photographers, but there are photographers out there that like want to still hold on to that. They love it. Like they are an artist through and through and they want to hold on to that. And as long as you're getting your galleries out on time, then like good for you for recognizing like what it is you as an artist enjoy doing. And just because everybody else is like hopping on an AI shift or ship or an editor ship, don't feel like you have to, or you're not failing if you're not also doing that as well. Just look for maybe other areas in your life. Like that's why I looked for outsourcing in my personal life, bringing on a personal assistant to handle things for me, bringing on a nanny, bringing on someone to come in and like clean my house once a month, Like I looked for those things that I didn't enjoy doing so that I could spend the time that I wanted to do more of.
Yeah. No, that's so great. I think it's so true. Like we tend to kind of have somewhat of like a sheep mentality thinking we need to like stick with the herd and like follow the herd and what everyone else is doing like must be right because so many other people are doing that. And so I think it is like really smart to like think for yourself when it comes to like your business because the truth is that honestly, we go through like a lot of difficulty and frustration and heartbreak in our businesses and we could make the same amount of money by like going and working for a corporate like a corporate kind of gig or something, you know what I mean? So it's like there's a reason we're doing this and a lot of it is from like the fulfillment like place of feeling fulfilled by it. And so yeah, it would probably um really escalate the feeling of burnout if you're not receiving that like feeling of fulfillment because you gave that job to somebody else. Does that make sense? But for me
Yeah.
personally, I don't really like editing. So
So
I
I am on
love
team editor.
I'm on team editor. Though okay, so if I'm being like totally transparent, I love editing when I am super excited about a project. Like I have to
Right.
be like hyper fixated. I do think I have like some ADHD tendencies. I've never been diagnosed, but like this is like the ADHD like kind of things coming out. Like when I'm like focused on something, like nothing can tear me away from it. And that's all I'm thinking about and doing until it's complete. And there have been weddings where that's how I feel while I'm editing. And I think that's absolutely always my best work. Um, but that's not happening for all of my weddings. Like, for like looking at the year ahead, like it's usually going to be just like 2 or 3 that stand out, like, in my, like, creative brain. So it's I drag my feet a little tiny bit when it comes to ones that I'm not super, super pumped about, and then it feels more challenging once you've, like, delayed, and then making yourself do it. That's where I have to, like, kind of, like, wait until it's almost due and, like, work under pressure. Like, I was known like, in high school, I was a straight A student. I was actually like super smart. I'm still probably kind of smart, but like maybe not all the way. But like I was in all the AP classes, like all the things. And like I remember like not writing my like essays until I would wake up at like 3 or 4 in the morning that my essays at like AP English were due. And I would like feverishly write for like 3 or 4 hours until school started and like turn it in. And then like that was like a lot of times my best work. Like
Oh, cool.
under pressure, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's not good for you. Like, I don't feel like that stress is great. You
We
know?
are addicted to the stress. I think that's something that you and I both self-diagnosed in 2024.
I think you're right. Ugh, it's not great, but I mean,
Yeah,
it kind of results in some really, like, really cool stuff though in the long run,
it's true.
if we're being
Yeah.
real.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Personal goals. Did we talk about your personal goals for 2025?
Mm. Okay, so I had my glow up year. I feel like that was great. I feel like there could be some fine tuning on different things, but I'm not gonna like obsess about those things. My Now what I'm looking towards is again like another like ADHD tendency is I'm super messy. I'm like a very, very messy person. Like the only part of my house that's
I am too.
tidy is like what you can see on the screen because I would be embarrassed. I'm not It's not like hoarder level. It's actually probably most people would walk into my house and like be like, this is totally fine, Taylor. Like you're blowing it out of proportion. But I would like to be the kind of person where there's nothing on the counters ever. There's nothing that should be put away later, like quote unquote. Like I want to adopt like everything has its place and put things away right away. Like I want that to be like a habit that I create in the new year. And I feel like it just takes time like to cement habits. So it's like I know for a fact
Yeah.
that like it's going to be like me setting alarms and reminders and like all these things and like me putting in like a lot of effort to like swim upstream and like do something that I'm not used to doing, but then like whatever 45 days later it becomes second nature. And then so I know it's like going to be a very short lived challenge, but one that I think is going to really pay off because I'm noticing that like my kids are adopting some of my like messiness tendencies and like I don't want them to live that way and like you know what I mean? So, I feel like
Yeah.
it's not just for me, but it's like for their sake too.
Right. Have you ever taken like, because there's a lot of people out there that like are organizers or they're just like really good at keeping their home organized and they have like a 30-day transformation to like reshifting your habits on how you keep. I don't know. Have you ever done anything like that? I've seen those before and I've been intrigued to try it.
No, but I would definitely consider like buying a course or like enrolling in some sort of like program like that. I think that's probably a great way to like kind of be handheld like through the process of like shifting like that. Yeah, I'm like definitely a buyer of all the courses and like all the things. I love it. I think like that like financial investment piece like makes me follow through instead of like listening to podcasts or whatever. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
the
always
problem is we have
find,
too much crap. We need to, like, go through and, like, throw half of the things in our house away. That's the problem. I know what
which I
it is.
think I've seen like a 30-day thing of like declutter your house in 30 days. And it'll be like day one, let's start with your pantry. It's like day two,
Mm,
let's start with your, um, like, I don't know, whatever, your junk drawer. And then like day
yeah.
three, let's start with your refrigerator. I don't know, all the things. I find that like I also am pretty messy. Like, I just don't ever like put things away throughout the day. And I feel like it's just like a every morning after the kids get out of school, I'm like resetting. And then every night after the kids go to bed, I'm resetting. And I wish it was just like, I wish I could just keep the peace rather than it being like a bomb went off in the house in the morning and a bomb went off in the house at like after bedtime. But maybe that's just the way it is.
Mm. I think when you have kids, like, that's kind of the way it is. So I'm like you, except 2 weeks go by in between my resetting the house. I'm always texting you like, "My house cleaners are coming today." Like, I need to go spend 3
Oh
hours
my
picking up
gosh.
my house.
The house cleaners are Taylor's bane of her existence. I was just telling him like this freaking house cleaner Taylor saga is like never ending.
It's because we let the house fall apart in between. She comes every 2 weeks. Um, and she's they're actually very sweet, like, they would pick up, but, like, they're just gonna put stuff in random piles, and then I wouldn't know where anything is, so it's better that I just, like, spend the time doing it, but what would be even better is if twice a day, like you, I reset the house, and then it's, like, far less junk in random places. Like, why is there, like, a sock and a bowl and your headphones to your iPad behind the couch, child? Like, those things don't need to live there for 3 days.
Yeah. Okay, so then you have your personal goals, you have your family goals, you have your business goals, and what is, like, the future in your mind? Like, do you even set goals past this? Like, do you set 5-year goals, 10-year goals, things like that?
Yes and no. I maybe not so specific, like, down to the year exactly. Um, Maybe it's more of, like, a range. So, I don't know, like, how much you want me to, like, divulge. But, this is so funny. This is also very embarrassing to say, so you guys don't judge me. But, like, my dream, I think, would be to be like Amy Porterfield. Like, I wanna be her. I wanna be Jenna Kutcher. Like, that's who I wanna be, like, as in, like, my professional life, and that's, like, the genre of coaching I want to, like, move into down the road. I feel like with all of our level up stuff, like we've have a few years under our belts. I have 4 years under my belt. With this, I
Yeah.
feel like I've launched lots of times. I feel like we're profitable, and I feel like I could help people um in like this very general like online education space. I feel like I could do that really well. I feel like I'm a very good videographer, you know? I feel like I'm, like, solid, like, it's fine. I'm not, like, anything like, I'm not a prodigy like some people are, but I feel like I'm actually very good at, like, the education stuff. Like, I think I understand, like, how people learn, and I feel like I'm a good communicator in a way that helps people understand in a deeper level, and so that's kind of, like, my, like, big picture goal, is
Mhm.
to shift into that sort of capacity down the road, which is probably, if I want it to, like, happen anytime, like, where I still wanna be working, like, you know what I mean? I don't wanna work until I'm 60 or anything like that, so, I feel like it's gonna have to, like, start kind of soon to, like, gain momentum because things like that really take time to get to the level that I wanna be, so I feel like that shift is gonna have to come sooner rather than later, but yeah, that's kind of what I have my sights set on for sure.
That's cool. You're so
Yeah, what
funny how
about
you're
you?
like, "I don't wanna be 60 and working," where I never see myself ever retiring. Like, obviously, I don't
Mm.
see myself, like, shooting weddings when I'm 60, but, like, I and Paul and I have this conversation all the time, like, it's taken a little bit longer for him to, like, kind of adopt it, but I think it also just comes from, like so my dad's a veterinarian, he has his own practice, and we were actually having this conversation with, like, him and my stepmom a couple years ago, and I was like, "When are you gonna retire?" And he was like, "I actually don't think I ever see myself retiring. Like, why would I retire when I've built my entire life building this practice when I could then share it with so many other people?" And maybe it looks like consulting, or maybe it looks like, no, I'm not going around and doing like, ranch calls or like whatever it might be. But like, he also kind of dabbled into like being a vet at like some top tier horse shows like in Las Vegas and like things like that. So he's like, maybe it looks like me broadening my veterinary services to a different type of market, like not my local clientele, but maybe I'm going and like traveling around to various horse shows and being like the dedicated horse show vet, like throughout that week or whatever. So I'm like, that's so true. Okay. Like now I can kind of see, like, I don't think that I ever see myself retiring. And I can't say that I know for certain what that would look like. And then with Paul, he really only kind of knows like that, like traditional retirement model from like within his own family. So for a long time, he was like, "No, I'm for sure gonna retire." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm not." So that's like, okay. But then he was like, then he came around and was like, "Okay, I'm gonna change what I said. what I think about when I think of retirement is that I have to work in order to live and, like, maintain my life. So he's like, I guess I don't ever see myself retiring, but I see myself being able to build an ecosystem of different revenue like avenues to be able to kind of run itself, but then I choose to work and also create some money and but I don't really have to, if that makes sense. And so he's like, that's what
Yeah.
retirement would look like for me. But he's like, I'm probably never just gonna like sit at home and like decide to play golf a couple times a week and like be like that true traditional retirement like person.
Yeah. No, that
Maybe
makes
it looks
sense.
like I'm maybe it looks like I manage all of my, now my retirement is like I manage all of my rental properties myself.
Yeah, I think that I mean, in my brain, I would still consider that retirement, I guess. If you like look into like the personal finance world, I feel like a lot of people consider like they have that big shift in perception of what retirement means too, and a lot of them what they're saying is retirement means like financial freedom.
Yeah, okay, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that. So, like, my husband will, like, literally do, like, the exact traditional route of retirement. Like, he's going to retire, get all of those benefits, whatever they look like, and not work ever again. And he's like, "I'm gonna be Mr. Mom, and I'm gonna be taking the kids to school and, like, being the dedicated, like, chauffeur to sports and all that stuff while you're working and, like, pursuing your dreams." Like, that's kind of, like, what we've set up for us. And so I do think I will, like, literally officially retire, and I'll probably do it I mean, it's gonna depend on how things are looking, but, like, I would like to do that probably realistically by the time I'm, like, 50, like, probably.
Mhm.
Like, I'll throw in the towel of, like, working, at that point, and I think we've set ourselves up in a way where, like, that will be possible to, like, maintain our lifestyle, but I've, like, having that, like,
Yeah.
deadline almost, like, makes me more excited because 'cause I'm like, "I only have this many years to, like, achieve all that I want in, like, my professional life." So, like, I don't know, the
Yeah.
open-endedness makes me less excited or motivated, and having, like, a deadline makes me, like, I don't know, the urgency sets a fire under me, I guess.
Right.
I don't know,
Yeah.
just like the essay is at 4 in the morning.
Yeah. That's so true. Yeah, I come from a long line of, like I guess for me, I felt like maybe I didn't have any true entrepreneurs in my family, but then now that I think about it, I think I really did. Like, my grandma was, like, so great at real estate, and she was doing real estate deals, like, well into her 80s and absolutely loved it. Like, if you're loving what you're doing, then, like, why stop? Or just
That's true.
scale back to a way that fits in with, like, maybe other areas that are pulling you in life when, like, maybe you have older kids and, like, they have kids and you wanna, like, be a hands-on grandma or something like that.
Yeah, the flexibility, like, would be great. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So many things. I mean, we're talking, like, 20 years from now,
I
but
know.
yeah, 20-year goals. I love it. Well, I'm excited. I think 2025 is gonna be a really exciting year. I'm going into it with like, I would feel like 2023, 2024, 2025 has been, like, the year where I've really gone in with, like, real strategies, and that's big for me as, like, a type B person. So it's exciting to kind of tackle business ventures in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is so gratifying to, like, meet your goals, and I will say, so, like, go listen to all of the past episodes about goal setting, like, they're so great, but I'll leave you with this. I really love to approach goal setting with, like, a three-tiered system, so it's, like, my minimum goal, like, literally, like, what is the minimum I need to hit to be able to do XYZ? So, for a lot of our people who this is, like, your only source of income, that will probably look like pay rent and mortgage and, like, groceries. You know what I mean? That's like your minimum goal. And then it's like the like goal. Like, okay, this would be down if you're watching on YouTube, I have like my hands up. So like this would be like, okay, we're scraping by and it's gonna be fine. But this is like what I actually want to achieve at this next level, this level 2. And then I like to set like an even higher goal where it's like, but if I really try really hard and everything's going my way, I would love to get to up here. So I feel like no matter which one you hit, like, you can still appreciate, like, what you've accomplished, but it's not setting, like, all unobtainable goals. I feel like the problem people have with, like, goal setting is they are, like, setting unobtainable goals. Like, it's just not necessarily possible to hit that, or it's highly unlikely, although it would be nice. So I think it's good to kind of, like, have this, like, tiered system.
Yeah. Love it. The tiered system's great. And you could even like maybe have like little bonuses within your tiered system if you're working on this week. Maybe it's like, okay, great. Like bottom of the tier, like we get by, it's fine. Second level of the tier is maybe like, cool, like I can do this like little bit of extra something. Like maybe it's like I can do like 1 to 2 Pilates classes per week in like a studio, or throw in this much into my savings and like build up a little nest egg that I didn't have last year. And then maybe like the next tier is like, okay, cool. Like if we reach this, like let's treat ourselves to this great vacation, or like let's be sure that we're hitting these numbers inside of our savings account, or, I can invest in this networking event because I've been able to like, save a little bit of extra money. So yeah, give yourselves little bonuses if you hit each tier in 2025, and keep those handy. Keep those readily available. I like to just keep them, like I'm a pen to paper person, as many of us know. I like to just keep them on my desk, so that I can just be like regularly referring to them and like seeing where we're at.
Mine would be, like, massages. Like, I
Oh
hit this
yeah,
goal and I'm like,
massages.
biweekly massages would be fabulous. My back would love me for that.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah.
So many ideas for, like, little rewards like that, and it doesn't have to be extravagant. It could be just, like, you go out to dinner or, like, whatever it may be, depending on
Yeah.
your preferences and lifestyle and, like, what you can do, but, I think you gotta treat yourself,
You do.
you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Indulge in the
Alright.
self-care in 2025. All right, should we close this one out, Taylor? Final sip and tell. Hope you guys loved the series. We'll be doing other series. We did our All-Star series earlier this year. If you guys are new to the podcast and you haven't gotten to the All-Star series, that started in April,
I
March.
can't remember. It was a spring for sure.
Yeah, it
Ugh,
took
you're
us
just gonna
through
have
the
to scroll
summer.
back. Mhm.
Scroll back. So many good people were brought on the All Star series. Then we did our Sip and Tell series, and we'll come up with some fun stuff for you guys in 2025. So happy New Year from the Level Up team, and we'll see you in the new year.
Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.